Okay, whenever you guys are ready. Shut that door.
What if I told you that today here we have a race that includes 16 different locations all across the world, all interconnected by different manners and with different styles of living through cultural, historical, economic, and geographic connections. But if we want to actually get to those, then we first need to go over the rules and the guidelines of the race itself. The racers that we will be using will be prom, queens, and kings. That way the racers will know each other, at least decently, probably for around 4 years, but they most likely won't have seen each other for a while. That way there's some familiarity, but there's still some newness to the competition. It also means that the racers will be, we're going to be choosing them from the graduating class of 2010, so the racers won't be all that old, so they'll still be fun to watch, but they'll still be mature, so that they are, they're mature and everything. Our race will take place in July, so that it's a good climate for the majority of the world, with it being a bit hotter in Europe to make the physical challenges a little harder. Excuse me. We will also cover over 44,000 miles, and our race will take place per se over a period of 3 weeks.
Our road begins and takes us all the way around the world, made to stop in at least one of every populated continent. We spend the most time in Europe because we have the most cultural and economical connections to that area. Our next place will be the Fort Wayne Embassy. The reason the embassy was chosen was because of its history and how much of a historical building it is. Many shows come to it each year. The physical challenge will be you must go through and find your boarding pass and a seat inside of the embassy. It will be randomized, so it will be anywhere. The mental challenge, where you have to play a song on the piano from Swan Lake.
The second location the contestants will be visiting is Fort Wayne Botanical Conservatory. This is a big landmark for Indiana because it attracts many tourists to come and visit our city, and it helps them learn about wildlife and ecosystems and plants. And then the physical challenge the contestants will be doing is a clue-based maze. So to be able to navigate through the maze, they'll have to find certain clues. And then for the mental challenge, it's going to be a matching game. So they're going to have to match a certain plant or flower with an article that best fits that flower.
The next place that will be is Toronto, Canada. When traveling to Toronto, Canada, one can take in the geographic features of the lakes. Tourists and travelers can partake in the beauty of the rivers aquarium. The way that Toronto, Canada is connected to Fort Wayne is because of the rivers. The physical challenge will be that you have to go to the Humber River and catch a fish no matter where you are with your bare hands. The mental challenge will have to craft a device that you can use to catch a fish, and you can only use that. You cannot use anything else.
Our second international location will be in Dublin, Ireland. Dublin has a company called Fort Wayne Metals that is also found here, and they also have many popular restaurants, one of them being Blind Pig and another being Token. Our challenges will be set at Token. Our physical challenge will be a pinball competition where teams will have to beat the high scores on 2 different pinball machines. Our mental competition will be, or challenge will be, teams will have to order off the menu to Token and eat a full meal, but they can only speak in Irish.
The next location that I'll be introducing you to is London in the United Kingdom. And we are similar to them geographically because we have similar land types, and we both have relatively low high points and flat land and lots of rivers. And then this is actually our first roadblock that we have, so that means that they don't have a choice between a mental or physical challenge, and they only can do the physical one. This challenge is a bake-off. So they have to be able to listen to a recipe that's told to them, and then they have to be able to bake it, and it has to be good enough for a passing score by the judge, and then they can go on to the next location.
The next location we'll be heading to is Berlin, Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, Germany. We chose this location sorry, my voice is really raspy. We chose this location because of how many historical connections that the two cities have, specifically focused around World War II. In fact, during World War II, our city was going to be the 7th to be bombed once Hitler took over the United Kingdom and began his bombing raids on the United States of America. We also had a number of troops that were in Berlin fighting to rid Nazi occupation. For our physical challenge, we will have people, this is a roadblock, so there won't be any physical challenge, there will just be the mental challenge. For our mental challenge, people will be required, the contestants per se, will be required to create a speech, whether they just cut off the top of their head or they write one up, and then say what the speech has to be based around World War II, and they must attract 50 people to listen. Then at the end, 25 people must applaud their speech, and then they can be involved. The next location we'll be heading to is Gera, Germany, which we chose because of the fact that it's a sister city of Fort Wayne. It's the third sister city that was established, and was chosen because of our large quantity of German ancestry. Over 25% of citizens in Fort Wayne have some manner of German ancestry. Our physical challenge for the area will be the common children's game, Hit the Pot, where you will be blindfolded and will be required to look for a pot using a stick. Inside of the pot will be your boarding passes. For your mental challenge, you will be required, the contestants will be required to find the different sister cities that Gera has, with a total of over 12. They'll then have to match different facts about the sister cities to the names of the sister cities. The next location we'll be heading to is
Paris. Okay, once we go to Paris, we will go to the Boulevard Haussmann, which is full of many different boutiques on its different levels. And one of these boutiques is called Millie Mays, which can be found here in Fort Wayne. The contestants will have to find an item, and these items in the boutiques will have colored tags on them, and each team is assigned a color. For their mental task, they will have to watch a fashion show and determine which fashions match today's fashion standards.
The next location that the contestants will be visiting is Rome in Italy. And Italy is known for their stunning landmarks, and it connects to Fort Wayne culturally because they happen to have an iconic church there called the St. Peter's Basilica, and we are known as the City of Churches, so it makes a good connection there. And then this is another roadblock, so that means that they can only do the physical challenge, which is a historical scavenger hunt. And they will travel all around the city with a certain paper, and then they have to fill it out to be able to move on to the next location. It has to be correct. And then after that, it's Athens, Greece. And this is actually the birthplace of many innovative and creative people. And it connects to Fort Wayne culturally and economically because many of the business owners, the Greek business owners, have come and spread their talent in Fort Wayne. And they've opened up many Greek restaurants, such as Club Soda, King Heroes, and then the Athenian Family Restaurant. The physical challenge for this one is that they have to eat a 6-course meal in a spinning box in the air, which is something that is normal for them. And then the mental challenge is you're going to get told a complex Greek story about Greek mythology, and you have to be able to tell it to your partner, and then they have to say it out loud, and then it has to be good enough for passing on to the next location.
the next location that contestants will be heading to is Parkview, Japan, which is another sister city of Fort Wayne. It was the first sister city and was established and they were established as sister cities in 1977 as part of America's bicentennial celebrations. Parkview, Japan, for their physical challenge, contestants will be required to participate in a sumo match, where they will essentially attempt to get a professional sumo wrestler out of the arena by any means necessary. For their mental challenge, contestants will be required to play the shamisen and the, koto, which are both traditional Japanese instruments. They will then need to play these instruments to a level of satisfaction determined by their individual instructors.
The next place would be Alice Springs, Australia. When traveling in Alice Springs, you can take in the culture of the buildings, as well as in Alice Springs, you can take in the culture of the outback. The way Fort Wayne is connected to Alice Springs is the number of Australian animals we have at Fort Wayne Zoo. The physical challenge will be to find a kangaroo in the outback and take a picture with it. The mental challenge will be you will be trapped in a coffin type thing with snakes in it, and there'll be one way glass people on the outside can see, and you have to be in there for 10 minutes. The next place will be Giza. When traveling to Giza, Egypt, you can take in the culture of the Giza pyramids and buildings. History in Giza, many travelers and tourists can partake in the City of Dead. Fort Wayne is connected to Giza because of its buildings and architecture. The physical challenge is you must carry 14 blocks to a certain location and basically make a tiny pyramid. The mental challenge is you must write something about your partner in hieroglyphics, and your partner must read out loud about what you wrote about them.
Okay, next, teams will travel to Rio. And Rio has a very colorful and fun culture. They also have many festivals that are much like our Fort Wayne Three Rivers Festival. And for our physical challenge, teams will have to learn a traditional samba and dance in Flamingo Park. And then for our mental challenge, teams will have to go to the Birds of Eden Sanctuary, get a bird bingo card, and then cross off different birds they see to get a bingo to pass on. And then, after Rio, we will go to the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo, which is a very popular tourist attraction for both kids and adults because of its many fun activities. And so our contestants will race around the zoo, take pictures of different animals that they have to check off a list, and take these pictures back to be checked by a zoo official. For our mental challenge, they will have to match different feathers and patches of fur to different animals correctly. For our final location,
We will be going to the Allen County Courthouse. Many people see the Allen County Courthouse as a center of Fort Wayne and a general, very interesting location. Most citizens of Fort Wayne have seen it, and a good majority have either gone inside for good or bad. Our physical challenge that we will have in location will be contestants will need to go to the fallout shelter that is in the basement and go through 76 cans that are located in that shelter. One of the cans will be empty and will include their boarding and will include the location that they need to head to for the end of the race, and the other cans will be full of some manner of food. When they find any can that's open, they will need to either open it, or they will either need to eat it, or they will need to take it all the way back up to the surface and throw it in the trash can on the other side of the park from the courthouse. Our mental challenge will be essentially a sketching contest or not a contest per se, but a sketching challenge and a description challenge where teams will be required to sketch and describe each of the individual courthouses from memory after they have seen them.
so for our prize and our winning team, we have decided it should be $1 million.
We're planning on getting this monetary funding from all the companies that we mentioned, such as Outback, because of the name of Outback Steakhouse, and then Ernest Scott, which is actually the company that does those spinning boxes in Athens. Now, we also have a number of brochures that we are planning on handing out, so that you guys can have some manner of seeing a bit more detail of a few of the locations that we have, and having a brief summary of just a number of locations that we have on our trip. That's essentially our presentation.
Thank you. Good job. We have about a minute for feedback.
One of the things I think you could have done that would have helped you guys is if you kind of angled yourselves a little bit so she can see your presentation. Then not only does it serve as a nice little note card for you, push you along your path, but then you can kind of know where if it's actually moving.
Yeah.
I know there's 4 of you, so sometimes it's kind of difficult, but if you go to any presentations, they all kind of have it in their view so that they can kind of, cheat off of it a little bit.
The time that the girls are standing in front of the screen for half of it, I can see it. So always make sure that everyone in the room can see the screen.
First impressions are really important, so I really appreciate the way you're dressed. People, the way you're dressed really determines whether or not somebody's going to listen to you.